Yes, sir. You can start now. Sachin, sir, you may start now. Sachin, sir.
Hello, am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sorry for technical interruption. Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all on the second day of National Web Conference organized by Gokhale Education Society's SHRI BHAUSAHEB VARTAK College. Theme of today's technical session is Changing Global Scenario and Sustainable Development. Chairperson and guest speaker for this technical session is Dr. S.P. Kallurkar. Sir is a principal of Atharva College of Engineering, Mumbai. He is B Mechanical Engineering, MMS, and Doctorate in Industrial Engineering. Sir has 42 years of experience to his credit. He was associated with Bajaj Auto Limited, Kirloskar Brother Limited. He is a founder HOD of Production Engineering at SGGS Institute of Engineering and Technology, Nanded. He was principal at AISSMS College of Engineering, Pune. Founder principal of Maharashtra Mitra Mandas College of Engineering, Pune. Sir is a recognized PhD guide for many universities. 21 candidates, including one international student, have received PhD under his guidance, and 6 are pursuing. He has published more than 100 research papers in various national and international level conferences, journals, and seminars with 260 citations. Sir has filed 2 patents in mechanical and Internet on Things domain. He has organized 11 national seminars, 4 international conferences, and 35 entrepreneurship awareness camps. He was editor for Journal of Engineering Education and past president of Engineering Education Foundation, Pune. He was mentor and auditor for World Bank supported project under Technical Education Quality Improvement Program of Government of India for phase 1. He was expert for phase 2 and auditor and mentor for phase 3. He is a founder coordinator of Entrepreneurship Development Cell established by DST and MHRD, Government of India. He has executed 2 research and development projects on entrepreneurship development funded by AICTE and MHRD, Government of India. Sir is also a member of College Development Committee of our college. On behalf of our college, I welcome you, sir, and request you to address the virtual gathering. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. And thank you very much indeed, Santa Madam, for having given me the opportunity to share my views, especially the changing scenario, sustainable development, expected outcome. But I'm a little spiritual minded person also. So when I read this, I remembered one sentence which was pronounced from a place called Akkalkot, which is a spiritual center, religious center, you can say. Vayumandala Shuddhi Hetu Yajnaka, in the year 1944. That was a time when no one was even able to believe that there's going to be a problem we'll have to tackle about the pollution. No one had even, people were not talking, people were not believing that pollution will be a problem to this world. We're talking hardly 80 years ago, even less than that. And as on date, if you see the UNDP, United Nations Development Project, they have come up with 17 sustainable development goals for the whole of the world. I'll not discuss all the 17 goals here because anyone can Google and find it out. What are the 17 sustainable development goals? Even Indian Parliamentary Committee is there to tackle the sustainable development goals because UNDP has made it compulsory for every nation. And you see these goals, one thing is carbon emission. So we need to work in the field of carbon emissions and reduce the carbon emissions because that's going to increase the temperature. I'm not saying anything new because this is known to everyone. But if you look at the goals, one thing is to control the carbon emission. Second is to tackle the wastes, especially the plastic waste. And at Ottawa College of Engineering, we worked on this since last almost 4 or 5 years. And now one of our startup is already in the market. So that's the reason I have requested Sharon to join so that we can hear from horse's mouth instead of me talking about that. So plastic waste. And third one is the equality. There is a lot of inequality, gender inequality. We are talking at global level. So UNDP wants to know about that. Gender inequality, distribution of wealth inequality. And when we see the changing scenarios, we see some of them. One thing is affordable and clean energy. That's what UNDP recommends. And they say that by 2030, we should be able to achieve that. Otherwise, after 2050, we are going to have a problematic situation. Next is decent work and economic growth. When we say decent, industry exists for profit. But nowadays, I was just talking to one of the global heads of Electrolux a few months back. And he's a global head for laundry division products, what we call washing machines and allied things, in the design. Earlier, he was in charge of the design. Now, recently, he has been promoted to be in charge for the complete group. There are many other organizations under Electrolux from the quality control part. But he was telling me that the major work assigned to them is sustainable development. All the products that you design, all the products that you manufacture, all the processes of manufacturing, we'll have to take into account the sustainable development. Means we should not add to the carbon footprints. We should not add to the temperature rise. We should not add to the pollution, especially the pollution which we are not able to tackle as of date. The plastics waste is one of the global problems, we all know. Another point that they say is industry, innovation, and economic growth. So what UNDP says, we have to reduce the digital divide. Means again, inequality. So something very different. When we study it, because I am working in this field since last more than a year, and I'm finding that these 17 goals are integrated. You work on one and it has an effect on another also. In many occasions when I was speaking on certain platforms, global platforms on this issue, I found that it is basically the human mind which needs a control. Then sustainable cities and communities. So when we talk about smart cities and development of cities, the sustainability has to be taken into account by all the national governments. Responsible consumption and production. These are certain points which we need to tackle even as an education institute. There is a need that we have our syllabus which will address such points. And climate action. From India, we are planning to organize, there is a United International Royal Council. And we have a small WhatsApp group. Sometimes I was going through the members in this WhatsApp group about this United International Royal Council. And the mobile number starts with +1 and the last one is +97. It means there are members from all the countries in the world. And the main aim of this conference is world peace. We're going to have this conference from 1st to 18th of May 2022. And people like George W. Bush, Barack Obama have already given a consent to be there in this conference. And after they have done it, there are a few chief ministers from India. From them now we have started receiving the consent that we will be part of your conference. And the main thing, why it is 18 days program? Every day, one sustainable development goal will be taken into account. The name of the conference is World Peace. So all the sustainable development goals are interlinked with inequality. And the major source of not having the peace in the world is inequality. You take up any goal and then you will find that there is a problem of inequality. Basically, it boils down to that. On many of the meetings also we found that sometimes there is a fight between Africans and Americans, even in our meetings. Because Africans feel that developed countries, they consume more and developing countries are pressurized about the pollution. Anyway, so one of the reasons, I'm trying to look at it from another perspective, and that is reducing the inequality. And anything in the industrial sector that you do, means any product that you think of, at design stage,
जे मैत्रीचेच लावूया.
sustainable development is to be taken into account. So one of the second aspect is, as I said, plastic waste. Because Sharang has joined, so I'll touch upon that. Single-use plastics is a major issue. He knows more than me now. And of course, plastic is a life-changing, but the problem is poor waste management. Sharang is able to work on the waste management, and with that, he has been able to come up with some of the very good products in the market. He patented his work and then put it on Instagram, and the national leader like Shakti Plastics on their own approached him that we want to join hands with you, and whatever patent you have done, we'd like to work with you. And Sharang himself had 2 factories in Mumbai, but now he's coming up with a very big plant in Madhya Pradesh, and that's the reason he is in Indore today. So, reduce the use, reuse, recycle. This is the way. But I think now I will request Sharang to speak rather than me speaking on this topic. Sharang, can you? Please.
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead.
Very good morning, sir. Respected all the dignitaries. Thank you for inviting me, sir, firstly. This is a very important topic and a very good forum to talk on. I am very delighted that you have called me to speak about my work here. And thanks to Gokhale Education Society for accepting this. The main part I liked about it is I am basically from Borivali. So it is a very nearby college that I pass from every day, almost every day when I'm in Borivali. So before speaking anything else, I would like to share 2 videos of 2 minutes each, which showcase the work that we do and the things or the products that I have features right now. So if possible, can someone make me the co-host or host? Thank you. Just give me a minute. I'm sorry for the delay.
Okay. Or maybe in the meantime, let's speak.
Yes, sir. Please, can you continue for just a minute? So
Till Sharang is ready, as I mentioned, reduce, reuse, and recycle. And we have to concentrate on second life of the plastic waste. Sharang is working on that. The plastics which are easily recyclable are like PET bottles, HDPE pipes. So here what you can do, just wash, grind it to powder, melt it and extrude it and reuse it. Sharon, once you are ready, let me know. But there are
Sir, is my
several
screen visible?
plastics. Yeah, ready?
Is my screen visible, sir?
Yeah, I think.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
So this was a video which was made by a recent brand to show our work. So I'll show you that, which is the introduction of our company, and then I'll show you a product that we make right now.
Hello. Sir, we can't hear you, sir.
Can't hear you, Sharon.
Sorry?
We are not able to hear you. Just
We pick up waste from municipal.
Yes, sir. Now it's okay.
No, it's okay.
My name is Sharang Ambadkar. I am the founder of Feel Good Eco Nurture. We convert waste plastics or waste menace into something useful. I was doing my IT internship in Italy when I came to know about waste management in the first world of what they were doing with their waste. So I was very intrigued with that. So we pick up waste from municipal bodies, from industries, and from wherever the waste is generated. We collect those waste, we mix it with our chemical formula that we have patented, and then we make it into tiles. Feelgood was awarded as Material of the Year 2020 by United Nations. Self-love for me is trusting myself and taking decisions as per that. What I love about myself is I take charge, I make decisions, and I trust myself. This Valentine's Day, seek self-love. So this was a video which was made for the Valentine's Day for people to encourage self-love. And it beautifully was made. So I share it a lot because I look good in it and the work is displayed very nicely. So right now I'll show you a product that is made 100% from waste, like multi-layered plastics, which is basically chocolate wrappers, biscuit wrappers, because recycling this type of plastic waste is really difficult, and very less players in the country are doing it. But it is the largest amount of waste that is generated in our country or in anywhere else right now, because the plastic packaging that the multi-layered plastic technology has given to the world is changing lives. Because right now we can buy shampoo at 1 rupee or oil at 1 rupees. So this is the magic of multi-layered plastics. Even something like this is a multi-layered packaging, which or chocolate wrappers like this. It has different coatings of different plastics, and this is inside is aluminum. So it is a mixture of different materials or different plastics, metal and plastics. So recycling that is very difficult, but we need to recycle it, because if we throw it away into the landfills where usually our garbage goes, it will be very difficult for the environment, because methane gas, CO2 will be emitted out of the landfills when this plastics keeps on piling up in the landfills without being processed. And also there will be a lot of amalgamation due to different materials that are present in the landfills, and destroys the air quality and disturbs the environment. So the solution that we came up with was, as you saw, we are making two things right now. We are making tiles, which is going to substitute concrete in some places, like paver blocks, paver tiles, because as per study, concrete is the largest carbon emitter, uh, or that is the material which emits a lot of carbon emissions during its manufacturing process. Almost 8% of the world's carbon emission is due to concrete. So if we limit that material in few places, we might help the environment to decrease the carbon emissions. And the second one is wood. We make wood out of the same plastics, and in that we also use construction waste, the C&D waste, because ours is a developing country, and in developing countries there is a lot of development happening on daily basis. It may be construction of metros, sorry, excuse me, construction of new houses, buildings. So lot of construction waste is generated. And to tackle this waste, we are using plastic waste and construction waste to make something like wood, a synthetic wood, which can and has the ability to replace the natural wood. And also at the same time, this both the materials have their end of life sorted out, as in once these tiles are broken after maybe 50 years, which it might not, uh, will that time be recyclable? So nothing is going to go into waste. Right now, we pay our construction waste, that is debris or rabbit, what we call in local terms. We need to pay the people to throw it away somewhere. So this material will have a value at the end of life, which is encouraging circular economy, so that the economy that was invested to make a product will always be in the loop of, and the economy or the money that was invested will never go out of the economy. So this is how we are helping it. So I'll just show you one last video that our product shows. So this is the features and how it is the in-all product. So yes, that is my presentation. This is what I wanted to share, and this is what we do. We make tiles and wood out of waste materials. And Feel Good was, for the similar reason, Feel Good was awarded as Material of the Year 2020 by United Nations in 2020. And after that, we got a lot of attention. Um, and right now we are and it is a good thing that you can visit a site that we have built out of waste plastics in Borivali East near National Park. We have installed our tiles over there, and which is, the footpath is really looking nice right now. So yes, that is what we do, and that's all, sir. Thank you very much. Do you want me to speak on anything else, or do you have any questions you can
Yeah,
ask me,
if
please?
there are any questions, we'll take your question answers, because I know you have a pressure of time. Any questions are there from the audience? Then I will take up further. To Sharon, because instead of just speaking from theory, I thought that when Sharon was in second year, he went to Italy on a scholarship for the international internship. And though an IT boy, he came back with this idea. He worked on the project, and almost for 2 years, then whenever it is third year and final year, his research was going on in the kitchen of his mom. And almost every alternate day, he used to come and show me something, new developments. And then we thought that yes, it can lead to a good product. So after his graduation, like any other startup, we had his startup. We have more than 24 startups in Athara. But SHRI startup is one of the best amongst them. So first thing was develop the process, patent the process, and after that publicize, so that a giant company like Shakti Plastics could approach them. And presently he is in Indore today. They are establishing one big unit for the same purpose. So in case if there are any questions, we'll request Sharon to reply that first, and maybe then I will sum up. So any questions from the audience, or any questions from the college side?
I think there are no questions, sir.
Right.
I have, if there are any questions, I have attached my number and also my email address and my LinkedIn profile in the chat box. So if anyone needs anything, needs to talk about anything or needs any answers on any questions or discussion, you can connect me over there.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you very much for inviting, sir.
So I thought that instead of just speaking of theory, which is generally taken from Google, we will discuss what we have done in Mumbai. In Athara College also we have purchased the products made by Sharon. If you visit our college also, you will see the benches. Even 10 students, strong students, jump on that, nothing is going to happen. So what we say in Marathi, Takau pasun tikau, something like this has been done, and the work has also been recognized by United Nations. He had shown one picture, the chairman of the group is Padma Shri, who is former director of ICT Mumbai. And I was just telling about, I talked to the global head of Electrolux. He's also a member, Swapnil Chaudhary. He's also a member of the same group. So it's an international group in which Sharon is also involved, just to see the changing global scenario, how we can tackle especially the pollutions from the perspective of plastic waste. Second is carbon emission. Of course, as you mentioned, it adds to a lot of plastic. So it is replacing concrete, which is nothing but carbon footprints are reduced. And if we don't do all these things, after 2050, we do not know whether our children will be able to survive on this planet or not. Though we save the planet, save the planet, basically it is a question of to save ourselves on this planet, because planet will be there, maybe in the different form. There are planets with very high temperatures also. But whether human beings or all the living things which are there on this earth will be able to survive if we don't tackle this issue. So what is important from my perspective is what is said in Bhagavad Gita. I just said I'm a little spiritual person and I try to connect everything with that. So even in our this World Peace Conference, I was telling them that global peace is possible when we concentrate on the universal peace through universal faith. So all the established religions of the world has got certain commonalities in the faith. And if we tackle this part of the faith, probably we'll be able to tackle the global peace or universal peace. But same thing has been mentioned in Bhagavad Gita also, how to do that. 18th chapter, 4th stanza, it says, Yajna dana tapak karma nyat yajyam karme vatat Yajnodhanam tapa karma pavanani manishna. Means, will not go into the depth. Yajnodhanam tapa karma means sacrificial approach. Willfulness to share your assets. Then restrainment, that is tapa. I can afford many things, but I restrain and do not use it. That's the fight. As I said, equality is fight between the developed and developing. And I see this fight sometimes on the global forums. So Sharon must be witnessing that. So that is the restrainment. And karma means understand the law of action, so that action of today will not become a source of misery for tomorrow. So our actions of last 60, 70 years have become a source of misery for us now. And now an organization like United Nations has to take a call and tell whole of the world that if you want to survive, 1.5 degree every year, which is likely to rise, must be brought to zero. And not only that, but we should reduce the temperature, whatever has been increased in last few years. And anything what you do should not add to carbon footprints. It's easy to say, very difficult to implement. And one of the reasons why it can't be implemented is because of the greediness of human beings. That's why Lord Krishna says, Pavanani Madishina. We all are knowledgeable people. But unfortunately, this spiritual aspect in mind is missing. Not only we, means the people who are sitting here, but the people who control this one. That's the problem. And now there is a great realization that even if everyone goes like this, as I said, when I was talking to Swapnil Chaudhary, he says in Electrolux now, whatever they do, sustainability is priority. And then I asked him, what about profit? He said, sustainability pe kaam karo, profit to aate rahega. Something of this type. So what is important is controlling the mind so that all other things can be controlled. But when we say it openly, even on the platforms of national or international platforms, people feel that isse man se kya lena dena hai? Control the things. The things can be controlled provided I am willing to be controlled. I am willing to reduce my consumption. That's why there is a responsible consumption and production pattern, SDG number 12. So we need to tackle these things. We need to develop the next generation of students from our academia, which will understand the importance of these things. So I think I'm thankful to Madam and the organizers that you gave me an opportunity to speak. I have taken a little different route than a normal kind of paper presentation today. Thank you very much, Madam. And thank you very much, the organizers, for giving us the opportunity and allowing my entrepreneur to speak.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Professor Praveen Gadge, sir, to propose a formal vote of thanks. Over to Praveen, sir.
Thank you, sir. Respected chairperson of this session, Dr. S.P. Kallurkar, Principal, Atharva College of Engineering, Malad, Mumbai. Principal, Dr. Mrs. S.V. Sant, Vice Principals, C.A.R.N. Doshi and Dr. Mahesh Sachin Pawar. Rapporteur of the session, Professor Aniket Salvi, eminent guest, delegates, dignitaries, special invitees, participants, and my dear colleagues. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks for the technical session 2 on changing global scenario and sustainable development. First and foremost, I express my heartfelt gratitude to the chairperson and speaker of this session, Dr. S.P. Kallurkar, who despite his busy schedule has found time to grace this session. Thank you, sir, for your valuable presence and your enlightening ideas. Thank you for giving comprehensive information about decent work and economic growth, industry innovation and economic growth, sustainable cities and communities, plastic waste and its management, global warming due to carbon emission. I am very happy to inform you all the participants that Dr. Kallurkar is accepted as a scientist at a global level. Heartiest congratulations, sir, for your achievement. I am also thankful to Mr. Sharang Ambadkar, founder of Feel Good Eco Nurture, for his excellent work in the area of plastic management and construction waste management. Words are inadequate to express my gratitude to our beloved principal, Dr. Mrs. S.V. Sant, for her continuous support, encouragement, guidance, and inspiration. Thank you, madam. I extend my gratitude to our vice principals, C.A.R.N. Doshi and Dr. Mahesh Auti, for their continuous support. Thank you, sir. I am express special gratitude to the principals of various colleges, delegates, dignitaries, eminent guests, special invitees, and participants who took out time from their busy schedule to attend this conference and contributed to the success of this session. I sincerely thank the coordinator of this session, Professor Sachin Pawar, for his able coordination. I also extend thanks to the rapporteur of the session, Professor Aniket Salvi, for noting down the fine points of this session. A heartfelt thanks to the technical team and my colleagues for their continuous support and assistance. Finally, I thank one and all for their direct and indirect cooperation and support for making this session a success. Thank you all once again.
Thank you, Praveen sir. Now over to Nitin Sawant sir for a paper presentation session. Sawant sir.
Thank you very much, Sachin sir.
Okay.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Shall I start, sir? A very good morning to everyone and a warm welcome to the paper presentation session. Honorable Chairperson of the session, Dr. Mrs. Manisha Rane Madam, respected Principal Dr. Mrs. S.V. Sant Madam, Vice Principal C.A.R.N. Doshi Sir, Dr. Mahesh Auti Sir, all delegates, eminent guests, dignitaries, special invitees, participants, my colleagues and dear students. It is my honor and privilege to introduce the chairperson for the session, Dr. Mrs. Manisha Rane Madam. Ma'am is principal of G Societies, Sir Dr. M.S. Gosavi, College of Commerce, Krishinagar, Nashik. Ma'am has retired as Associate Professor, Head of the Department of Sociology and Vice Principal at G Society, SMRK, BK, AK Mahila College. Ma'am has 35 years of teaching experience. Ma'am has various qualifications to her credit. Ma'am has done her PhD, MA, MPhil, MPM, and B.Ed. Ma'am has interest in varied areas such as sociology of women, social problem, and environmental issues. Ma'am is a recipient of various awards like Best Teacher Award by Gokhale Education Society 2010-11, Best Teacher Award by Sarvajanik Vachanalaya Nasik in 2013, Best Teacher Award by SMRK BK AK Mahila Mahavidyalaya 2014, Certificate of Achievement by International Organized Rio 20 United Nations IARC Education and Outreach for work as a campus ambassador. Anubandhi Sanman by Shiv Parvati Pratishthan in 2019. state level award by Samruddhi Bahuddeshi Samajik Sanstha for contribution in education field in 2020. Ma'am has attended and presented paper in 10 international conferences, 15 national conferences, 17 national seminars, 9 state level conferences, 11 state level seminars, and 20 workshops. Ma'am has 21 publication with ISBN number and 20 review journal seminar proceeding to her credit. Ma'am has also published 2 books. Ma'am has attended international conference held at Yokohama, Japan, and presented a paper in the year 2014. Ma'am has attended and presented a paper in international conference held at Bangkok, Thailand in 2017. Ma'am has worked as a chairperson Board of Studies in Sociology, SNDT University in 2010 to 15. Member of Academic Council, Subject Committee, RRC, BUTR, etc., SNDT 2010 to 15. Work as a chairperson or member of LIC appointed by SNDT University. Work as a co-coordinator of Art Commerce faculty since 1992 to 2005. Work as a vice principal of Arts Commerce faculty since 2006 to 2015. Ma'am has organized more than 10 national, state level seminars and workshops. Ma'am has hosted district level sports tournament organized by Savitri Phule Pune University. Ma'am is a PhD MPhil guide of YSU MOU. Ma'am is a life member of Indian Sociology Association, Marathi Samajshastra Parishad, Akhil Bharatiya Natya Parishad, Stri Abhyas Vyaspeeth, Maharashtra Council for Education, Administration and Management, Indian Institute of Public Administration. Ma'am is a chairperson of Mahir Social Institution working for women. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Mrs. Manisha Rani Madam. I welcome you, ma'am, once again. Ma'am, if you permit, shall we start with the paper presentation session?
Yes, yes,
Okay. Thank you, madam.
you can.
Yeah, thank you, madam. Now we begin with the paper presentation. Each paper presenter will get 5 minutes to present this paper, and I request the presenter to observe the time limit. Our first paper presenter for this session is Dr. Navdeep Kumar, Assistant Professor, PG Department of Commerce and Business Administration, Lakhapur Khalsa College, Jalandhar, Punjab. His title of the paper is Reviewing Food Supply Chain Distribution for the Sustainability. So over to Dr. Navdeep Kumar, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, you're audible.
Okay, sir. So first of all, I am thankful to the organizers for giving me the opportunity for sharing my views on my topic. So keeping in the time constraint, I am just briefing the points of my study. As the topic is reviving food supply chain disruption for sustainability, as we all know, agri-food supply chain plays a significant role in the Indian economy, since the agriculture sector contributes a substantial proportion of national gross domestic product. And the pandemic scenario has drastically affected the food supply chain mechanism in India. In this context, managing smooth supply chain and overcoming disruptions while maintaining operational excellence have become a necessity. And the supply chain resilience can well equip itself to achieve operational excellence through quick and timely response to rapidly changing business environment caused by the pandemic. So in this context, the present paper focuses on what are the various issues and how we can overcome that. So owing to the lockdown and prohibition in several goods and services, the agriculture related product supply chain grappled with the solving several supply chain and the demand side issues. Any disruption in food availability has adverse effects, health consequences through a reduction in diet diversity and nutritional intake, which can further increase pupils' susceptibility to infection and other health-related diseases. So in this context, managing smooth supply chain and overcoming disruptions while maintaining operational excellence have become a necessity. So despite the changes in the all over the world as far as the supply chain management is concerned, the poverty and food insecurity continue to haunt millions of Indian citizens, with about 30% of the population being poor and about 20% of the population being undernourished. The need for ensuring food security for all remains of paramount importance. Whereas the pandemic scenario has drastically affected the food supply chain mechanism in India, the severity of pandemic impact is much more disastrous in developing countries, leading to hunger problem and unavailability of safe foods. So firms facing a pandemic outbreaks are uncertain about sustainability of their supply chain and meet disruption in supply chain, while the food supply chain in developed economies is automated, organized, highly integrated and resilient, the food supply chain in developing economies. So as far as the COVID impact is concerned, Indian food supply chains are now more vulnerable and terribly affected by a pandemic compared to those in the developed nations. What is the reason for that? Indian food supply chain is labor intensive and informal in nature. This is the main issue. And the shortage of workers further exacerbated the situations. And ensuring consumers access to food rather than food availability became essential for Indian firms to ensure food safety and security. And on the other hand, what are the major issues among that? Inadequate financial and government support, lack of transparency, and improper technical infrastructure are some of the major factors that cause increased supply chain risk in the India as far as the food supply chain concerned during the pandemic. So in this context, what is the solution? So we have learned so many lessons from the COVID pandemic in each and every area. So as the focus of present paper is on the food supply chain. So again, the need of the hour is to revive the food supply chain with the use of proper and adequate infrastructure so that we can meet the unprecedented demand in the coming future if such situation prevails again. So digital supply networks are going to make business less vulnerable in longer form. So what we need, at the pandemic scenario, all over the sectors where we are using or affected, technology have played a very, very important role. So the use of technology is the ultimate solution to revive the supply chain mechanism. So to conclude, I will say the COVID pandemic has emerged as a significant health risk, and countries around the world have responded with partial shutdowns of their economies to slow the pace of infections. So these measures have reportedly led to massive disruption in global and domestic supply chain. Indian food supply chains are more vulnerable, as already discussed. And what is the need of the hour? The government must adopt adequate measures to revive the food supply chain for sustainable development. Suitable policy interventions are must to ensure the development of an effective supply chain management system. And it is possible with the right blend of policy, technology, and knowledge support system. So thanks. It is all from my side.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome.
Now we'll proceed to the second paper presentation for this session. Dr. A. Arshad Ahmed, Assistant Professor, UG Department of Commerce, Yuva Guru College of Commerce and Commerce Arts and Science, Kovil Palayam, Pollachi, Tamil Nadu. Paper of his title is A Study of Supply Chain Management of the Construction Industry in Pollachi Taluka. So over to Mr. Arshad Ahmed, sir.
Okay, sir. First of all, I thank sir for giving for opportunity, sir. Good morning, sir. I am Arshad Ahmed, sir, working as Assistant Professor of Commerce in Yuva Guru College of Arts and Science. Now we are going to Now we are going to discuss about the supply chain management, the efficiency and the productivity, and their roles, suppliers and the clients. The supply chain management of the roles of establish and developments, their supply the business constructions of raw materials, and say about the objectives of their studies. To understand the supply chain management, the construction of industries regarding to the relationship between the major contracts companies and the supplies and the clients, to investigate the patterns relationships among the players, to analyze the partnership demands of the logistics, which essential of the successful collaboration of the control and the partnership. And next of all, I'll say about the module of the studies. Module of the studies means module of studies how to suppliers exchange their raw materials to the customers, and how customers exchange their cash to the suppliers, and schedules of the planning, producting, manufacturing, customer service, and the performance the management to unschedule to the customers. And next up the topics of stage of supply chain management. Stage of supply chain management, since to involve the supply chain management, the constructions are still the stage, many barriers still need to the overall and opinions of efficiency and productivity to the construction business. And about the say of the scopes of the studies, scope of the studies of the engineering and the constructions managers and construction not topically of the supply chain management, that deals of all the supply chain management and makes the decisions to daily basis. Constructions supply chain management refers to the end-to-end chain of the shareholders and the partners. It should be the all of the link type of the supply chain management. Supply chain management, data enquiring in the constructions, data enquiring constructions of the raw materials, customers, how to customs exchange their cash and the suppliers, to be the see about the suppliers and the buyers and the customers. All of the changes, the raw materials will be the how to exchange one place to another place. And the sampling methods, the ANOVA method was used to the group of the numbers, total revenues of the companies, number of the companies in the each group of the distribution percentage. And the supply module of the studies how to the suppliers exchange their raw materials, the constructs in the suppliers give their product and the customers. First of all, here the suppliers and the sellers and the goods to the constructions who were buyer, and the construction will be the sell to the customers. The sampling designing, this studies details of the results going to of the service as per the constructions, the industries control roadmally among us the value of the project. Thank you, sir. I say about the conclusions. The conclusions, this is the constructions to be the service supply chain management, the productivity and the supply chain management of between the contract suppliers and clients. Every constructions provide the role of depends they expanded involving the more secret players, examples of the building product manufacturing in the future research. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the giving the opportunities.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Now,
Thank you, sir.
next paper presenter is Dr. Jagtak Balasaheb SHRI, Assistant Professor in Commerce, MES, SHRI Naneshwar Mahila Vidyalaya, Nevasa. Name of the title of his paper is Progress of Indian Agriculture Sector in Changing Global Market. Over to Dr. Jagtak, sir. Hello, Dr. Jagtap sir, are you there? Okay, we'll move forward to the next paper presenter, Dr. Davde Santosh Prakash. Davde sir, are you there? Okay. Okay. Jagtap sir, do you want to present it right now? Yes, Jagtap sir, you can unmute and start. Okay, sir, start. Sir, you are mute. Sir, please unmute. Jagtap sir, please unmute.
Okay, sir. Sir, is my voice audible?
Yes, yes, you are audible, sir. You can start.
Okay, sir. Okay. So I'm Dr. Jagtap BS. I am a assistant professor in commerce. I'm working at Sri Dnyaneshwar Mahavidyalaya Nevasa in Ahmednagar district uh, in state of Maharashtra. I was worked on progress of Indian agriculture sector in changing global market. In this research paper, I tried to find out agricultural problems or changing pattern in agriculture, globalization and its effect on agriculture, and also the standard of living of farmers. So we all know what happened with farmers. Uh, they could not receive MSP, that is minimum support price for agricultural commodities. And in the due to the globalization, agriculture pattern is also changed. Lifestyle is changed. Research development is made. Educational resources also making impact on agriculture. Uh, Infrastructural development also increase, and due to this, agricultural pattern is changed in this modern world. Uh, Sir, is my screen is share? Hello?
No, sir. No, sir. Screen is not sharing.
How can I share, sir?
Rupal madam, please allow the
Sir,
access.
there is the option share screen. You can use that option, sir, on your Zoom app. Sir, we have already made you the co-host, so you will be able to share the screen now.
Forum ma'am, please guide him where to access screen.
Hello, Jagtap sir, am I audible to you?
Yes, yes.
Sir, are you sharing the screen from the mobile phone?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, on the mobile phone, there will be an option share screen on the below.
Just a minute, madam. At the below, there is a share option.
Yeah, please click on the share screen option.
Screen option. Okay, start now.
Yeah, it will be asking for the window that which screen you need to share.
Which windows should we select?
The screen which you want to
Zoom,
share, you
Zoom,
select that window,
Zoom.
sir.
Okay, Zoom.
So we are not able to see a screen.
Just
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible now. Now you can start the particular window which you want to share.
Okay, 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 okay. Thank you.
Okay.
So this is my PPT. Okay,
Yes, it's visible, sir, now.
okay, okay. Thank
Thank you.
you. So I'm discussing about progress of Indian agriculture sector in changing global market. What is the new challenge for before agriculture in India? Due to globalization, some changes are made, and challenge also increase before agriculture. Some opportunities also available or made for farmers, like organic foods. Then some agricultural goods can be exported. So in this study, I work and I make effort to find out the problems of farmers, like their standard of living, and basically minimum support price. Okay, so there is the objectives of my study to study agriculture labor and cultivators in India, to analyze reasons of global changing market, to know government policies and schemes development of agriculture sector, problems faced by agricultural industries, to analyze price of agricultural commodities, to suggest strategies for sustainable development. Okay, so what are the causes of changing market due to globalization? World accepted globalization, and demands are changed. Then income levels are changed. Then infrastructure is changed. It means I mean infrastructure increase. Then climate change issue also impact. Population also increase. So due to these changes, global market is changed. Okay, so what happened about the market price? Yes.
हो ना मग पण हे असं घे हा म्हणजे असं घे म्हणजे ते तुला जे काय करायचं आहे ना, ते तू, भाडाचं केलं हा वेगळा कारण तो आपण दिला नसतो.
Hello. Yes, thank you very much, sir. Dr. Dhavale, sir, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Our next paper presentation is by Dr. Dhavale Santosh Prakash, Assistant Professor, Down Taluka, Arts and Commerce College, Down. His paper entitled is Changing Global Scenario, a study on microfinance in India through women empowerment. Over to Dr. Dhavale, sir. You can start, sir.
Hello, sir.
Can I share my PPT?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, visible, sir.
Sir, माझे PPT दिसतायत का sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Diste, sir.
Okay, sir.
You can start, sir.
Okay, sir. First of all, good morning to all. My name is Dr. Santosh Dawale. I am working from Daund Taluka Arts and Commerce College. And this 2 days National Web Conference, Changing Global Scenario Strategies for Sustainability. And my paper title is Changing Global Scenario, a study on microfinance in India through women empowerment. So first of all, I'm introduce my research paper. The microfinance in India, that is a very important aspect in current scenario, and the sustainable development depend on equitable distribution of resource from today and for the future. It cannot achieve without gender equality. Women empowerment is a key factor for achieve the sustainable economic growth. That is very important aspect. And the social development and environmental sustainability. The term microfinance refer to extending the whole range of financial service from saving to credit, microinsurance to micro enterprise, and lot of more for the proper sections of the society and whose scale of operation are so small. So I'm selected the models of microfinance, and this lead to launching the self-help group and also link with bank program in 1992. And this pilot study show the NABARD and the huge untapped population provided unlimited scope to microfinance companies for market expansion. Business. So two models are for taking this paper. First is small health group with bank linkage model, and this model will be involved to SHG financed directly by the bank, just like as a cooperative bank, just as a private bank, public bank, and cooperative bank. And the second model are here, the MFI, the microfinancial institutions, just link with bankage linkage model, and this model will be cover the financing microfinance institution related the banking agencies for on leading to SHG and other small borrowers. Need of the study: microfinance aim at the assisting community of the economically helpful, access to financial service and subsequent transfer of financial resource to the poor woman enable them to become economic agent of change. Then the woman become economically self-reliant and contribute to directly to well-being of their families and play more active role in decision making and are able to confront the systematic gender inequalities. Next one is access to credit has long been considered a major poverty alleviation strategy in India. That is very important. Microcredit has given women in India, that is the opportunity become agent of change. Then poor women who are the forefront microcredit movement in country use small loan to start a long chain of economic activity. And the study is basically intended to analyze the condition of microfinance industry in India. That is the need of the study. We have taken the research paper on the 3 objectives, and there are to analyze the condition of microfinance business in India. My second objective is to analyze the impact of model of microfinance on a microfinance business in India. And third one, to analyze the aggregate amount of bank loans disbursed to SHG by various banks and to evaluate the agency-wise distribution of loan disbursed to SHG by the banking agency. I taken the this research paper 3 objective. Then hypothesis. The first one is H0. There is no significant impact on SHG on growth of microfinance business, and HA, there is significant impact of SHG on the growth of microfinance business. We have taken two hypotheses. We are using the research methodology for the type of research. We are using the descriptive and analytical research types are used for this research paper. And data collection, we are using totally completely secondary database are used for this research paper. And we are used for the statistical tool description about the bar charts and a simple tabulation simulation are used for this research paper. Then we are showing the bar charts, tabulation, and related the graphs. So these graphs, the first graph we are showing the table number 1 and graph number 1 and 2, and these graphs are showing the SHG with bank linkage model are the saving of the SHG, showing the number of programs. Then the second, bank loans distribute to the SHG during the year, and this graph will be show the table number 2 and graph number 3 and 4 in my research paper. Then bank loans outstanding with SHG group, and the showing the table number 3 and graph number 5 and 6. Then financial institution, microfinancial institution with bank linkage model, and the bank loan distribute to the MFI during the year, and the number of SHG and the amount we are showing the table number 4 and graph number 7 and 8. Then bank loan outstanding with MFI, and this showing the table number 5 and graph number 9 and 10. These total 4 tables and related graphs. The analysis of data presented, the number of tables are disclosed that from the year 2006 and 7 to 2010 and 11, the number of SHG groups is increasing from 41.60 lakhs of SHG and to 74.61 lakhs. This is increasing from 2006-7 and 2010 and 11. So the hypothesis have a significant impact of number of SHG group on a saving amount, and loan disbursed and loan outstanding are the significant impact. Then suggestions. The government should encourage more number of women to join the self-help groups, that is the short form of SHG. Then DRD and NABARD should be organized various companies to create the awareness of self-help groups. The maximum will be involved, join, and should be also spread the awareness about the various schemes available to members of the self-help groups. Then organize the training program of women entrepreneur, the maximum provided through SSI and through the separate school for the better performance for their business activities. The next suggestion is, since the repayment about the loan among the number of members of self-help groups is quick, and then therefore the bank may be reduce the rate of interest on such a type of loan, bank will be held. Then microfinance brought more amount of political empowerment Then economic empowerment among the rural women, and there is the negligible for the social empowerment. Then the respondent were found to have a better economic, social and political empowerment in all respect of the empowerment. And last one is the family income of the respondent is not having any significant relations with the cover area. That is the suggestions. Finally conclude my research paper. The first conclusion are here to study the reports that there are appreciable empowerment decision making and space than the economic empowerment. And there was a negligible managerial empowerment as a result of participating in microfinance through the small health group program. The second conclusion are here. It is a conclude that the high level of leadership empowerment among women as compared to economic empowerment, and there was a poor level of social empowerment. Then the role of women empowerment in decision making, that is related to child education, is improved considerable. And then there is a role of saving expenditure related decision making. That is very important role of the women empowerment in decision making. And last one is there was a moderate increase the income, enhance the saving, related undertakings of income generation activities, reduce dependency on money lenders, ability to deal with the financial crisis, and the woman move independently to the other place without support of male members of the family. That is the conclusion. There are related paper for the references. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Our next paper presenter is प्राध्यापक कविता किसान भोये मैडम, अर्थशास्त्र विभाग, कला विज्ञान व वाणिज्य महाविद्यालय सुरगाणा. त्यांच्या पेपरचा टाइटल है भारत में महिला सशक्तिकरण के लिए सरकार की भूमिका. ओव्हर टू कविता. हेलो, यस, ओव्हर टू कविता मैडम. मैडम येतोय आवाज, येतोय तुमचा.
करते हैं. मेरे पेपर का टॉपिक है भारत में महिला सशक्तिकरण के लिए सरकार की भूमिका. आज के आधुनिक समय में महिला सशक्तिकरण एक विशेष चर्चा का विषय है. हमारे आदि ग्रंथों में नारी के महत्व को मानते हुए यहाँ तक बताया गया है कि यत्र नार्यस्तु पूज्यन्ते रमन्ते तत्र देवता, अर्थात जहाँ नारी की पूजा होती है वहाँ देवता निवास करते हैं. लेकिन विडंबना तो देखिए, नारी में इतनी शक्ति होने के बावजूद भी उसके सशक्तिकरण की अत्यंत आवश्यकता महसूस हो रही है. महिलाओं के आर्थिक सशक्तिकरण का अर्थ उनके आर्थिक फैसलों, आय, संपत्ति और दूसरे वस्तुओं की उपलब्धता से है. इन सुविधाओं पर को पाकर ही वह अपने सामाजिक स्तर को ऊंचा कर सकती है. राष्ट्र के विकास में महिलाओं का महत्व और अधिकार के बारे में समाज में जागरूकता लाने के लिए मातृ दिवस, अंतर्राष्ट्रीय महिला दिवस आदि जैसे कई सारे कार्यक्रम सरकार द्वारा चलाए जा रहे हैं. महिलाओं को कई क्षेत्र में विकास की जरूरत है. भारत में महिलाओं को सशक्त बनाने के लिए सबसे पहले समाज में उनके अधिकारों और मूल्यों को मारने वाली उन सभी राक्षसी सोच को मारना जरूरी है. दहेज प्रथा, अशिक्षा, यौन हिंसा, असमानता, भ्रूण हत्या, महिलाओं के प्रति घरेलू हिंसा, वेश्यावृत्ति, मानव तस्करी और ऐसे ही दूसरे विषय अपने देश में उच्च स्तर की लैंगिक असमानता है, जहां महिलाएं अपने परिवार के साथ ही बाहरी समाज के भी बुरे बर्ताव से पीड़ित है. भारत में अनपढ़ों की संख्या में महिलाएं सबसे अव्वल है. नारी सशक्तिकरण का असली अर्थ तब समझ में आएगा जब भारत में उन्हें अच्छी शिक्षा दी जाएगी और उन्हें इस काबिल बनाया जाएगा कि वो हर क्षेत्र में स्वतंत्र होकर फैसले कर सके. हमारे देश में महिला सशक्तिकरण के लिए सरकार की भूमिका जो है वो बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है. भारत सरकार द्वारा महिला सशक्तिकरण के लिए कई सारी योजनाएं चलाई जाती है. इनमें से कई सारी योजनाएं रोजगार, कृषि और स्वास्थ्य जैसी चीजों से संबंधित होती है. इन योजनाओं का गठन भारतीय महिलाओं की परिस्थिति को देखते हुए किया गया है ताकि समाज में उनकी भागीदारी को बढ़ाया जा सके. इनमें से कुछ मुख्य योजनाएं मनरेगा, सर्व शिक्षा अभियान, जननी सुरक्षा योजना आदि है. महिला एवं बाल विकास कल्याण मंत्रालय और भारत सरकार द्वारा भारतीय महिलाओं के सशक्तिकरण के लिए कुछ योजनाएं जो है वो चलाई जाती है। भारतीय समाज में महिलाओं को पुरुषों की तरह प्रत्येक अवसर का लाभ प्राप्त होगा। इसके लिए जो योजनाएं शुरू की गई है वो उनमें से कुछ योजनाएं मैं यहाँ बताना चाहती हूँ। बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ योजना, महिला हेल्पलाइन योजना, उज्ज्वला योजना, सपोर्ट टू ट्रेनिंग एंड एम्प्लॉयमेंट प्रोग्राम फॉर वुमेन, महिला शक्ति केंद्र, पंचायती राज योजनाओं में महिलाओं के लिए आरक्षण। 2009 में भारत के केंद्रीय मंत्रिमंडल ने पंचायती राज संस्थानों में 50% महिला आरक्षण की इस योजना के तहत महिलाओं को 50% आरक्षण बहाल किया है। इस पेपर का उपसंहार, जिस तरह से भारत आज दुनिया के सबसे तेज आर्थिक तरक्की प्राप्त करने वाले देशों में शामिल हुआ है, उसे देखते हुए निकट के भविष्य में भारत को महिला सशक्तिकरण के लक्ष्य को प्राप्त करने पर भी ध्यान केंद्रित करने की आवश्यकता है। भारतीय समाज में सच में महिला सशक्तिकरण लाने के लिए महिलाओं के विरुद्ध जो बुरी प्रथाएं है उन मुख्य कारणों को समझना और उन्हें हटाना होगा। जो समाज की पितृसत्ता और पुरुष युक्त व्यवस्था है, यह बहुत आवश्यक है कि हम महिलाओं के विरुद्ध अपनी पुरानी सोच को बदले और संवैधानिक तथा कानूनी प्रावधानों में भी बदलाव लाए। भले ही आज के समाज में कई भारतीय महिलाएं राष्ट्रपति, प्रधानमंत्री, प्रशासनिक अधिकारी, डॉक्टर, वकील आदि बन चुकी हो, लेकिन फिर भी काफी सारी महिलाओं को आज भी सहयोग और सहायता की आवश्यकता है। उन्हें शिक्षा और आजादी पूर्वक कार्य करने, सुशिक्षित यात्रा, सुशिक्षित कार्य और सामाजिक आजादी में अभी भी और सहयोग की आवश्यकता है। महिला सशक्तिकरण का यह कार्य काफी महत्वपूर्ण है, क्योंकि भारत की सामाजिक आर्थिक प्रगति उसके महिलाओं के सामाजिक आर्थिक प्रगति पर भी ही निर्भर करती है। महिला सशक्तिकरण महिलाओं को वह मजबूती प्रदान करता है जो उन्हें उनके हक के लिए लड़ने में मदद करता है। हम सभी को महिलाओं का सम्मान करना चाहिए, उन्हें आगे बढ़ने का मौका देना चाहिए। 21वीं सदी नारी जीवन में सुखद संभावनाओं की सदी है। महिलाएं अब हर क्षेत्र में आगे आने लगी है। आज ही नारी अब जागृत और सक्रिय हो चुकी है। किसी ने बहुत अच्छी बात कही है, नारी जब अपने ऊपर थोपी हुई बेड़ियों एवं कड़ियों को तोड़ने लगेगी तो विश्व की कोई शक्ति उसे नहीं रोक पाएगी। वर्तमान में नारी ने रूढ़िवादी बेटियों को तोड़ना शुरू कर दिया है। यह एक सुखद संकेत है। लोगों की सोच बदल रही है, फिर भी इस दिशा में और भी प्रयास करने की आवश्यकता है। धन्यवाद। आयोजकों ने मुझे यहाँ पेपर प्रेजेंट करने की अनुमति दी, इसके लिए मैं तहे दिल से उनका शुक्रिया अदा करती हूँ और मेरा पेपर प्रेजेंटेशन यहाँ समाप्त करती हूँ।
Thank you very much, madam. Our next paper presenter is Mr. Nishikant Ramnath Pute, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, MVP Samaj, CMCS College, Nasik. His paper entitled Emerging Opportunities for Growth and Sustainability of Agriculture Sector through a Way of Agriculture and Tourism. Over to Nishikant sir.
Yes, am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Just a second, sir. Okay, so first of all, very good morning to each and everyone, and I will just like to thank
Sir,
for
please, sir, If
Yes.
mobile is nearby, na, please keep it aside. I think you are presenting from laptop.
Yes,
So
yes.
keep your mobile away.
Okay. Okay, sir. So just means, first of all, I would like to just thank the organizer of the workshop that giving me the opportunity to present my topic before everyone. So starting off with my topic means it is emerging opportunities for growth and sustainability of agriculture, the sector through which through the way of agriculture and tourism. So basically means, as we all know that the situation of the agriculture sector in our country, it is not so good what it should be. Many of the other countries, means in many of the economy, agriculture is been one of the key element, and we can say the backbone of the economy. Like in India also, it is a backbone of the economy. But although the way the development of the agriculture sector should be, it is not in the way what it should be. So different opportunities, or we can say the different steps along with agricultural activity should be done, so that the overall development of the agricultural activities, agriculture can be possible. So with respect to that means, I have just written this research paper, so that means some contribution, or we can say some steps may be taken, so that to develop or to means bring up the agriculture sector in our economy. So with respect to the abstract means, agriculture, as we all know, it is the backbone of Indian economy. Same way means more than 60, we can say more than 65% of the Indian population, they are directly or indirectly associated with the agriculture sector. Same way, a proper and sustainable growth in the field of agriculture is measured through which the occupation and online business, which are directed or directly or indirectly associated with it, can be grown in positive direction. Okay. Means in short means the all the importance, then what we can say, the dependence of the whole economy on the agriculture sector has been mentioned here. These are some of the aims and objectives of my research paper. The ultimate objective of the research paper is to suggest some parallel business in relation with agriculture. Accordingly, the aim and objective of the research paper is the parallel way of business along with the agricultural activities, to suggest the additional source and way of increasing the income of farmers, and to identify the changing needs of the tourism sector. So accordingly, as means I have just means said earlier only that only depending wholly on the agriculture activity for as an earning source is been very much difficult. There are various factors like the climatic change, improper, or we can say sometimes it is there is a situation where there is lack of rainfall. Sometimes huge rainfall occurs, means this kind of climatic change. Same way, due to various economic situations, many of the times the agriculture produce, they are not been able to get the rates, means even if the BEP, or we can say the amount which has been invested, or which has been the expenses which has been incurred for doing the particular crop, even means it has been difficult to recover that amount. So wholly, or we can say depending wholly upon the agricultural produce as an earning source has been very much difficult. So that's why it is essential that there should be some parallel business according to which can help the or which can means act as a supplement way for earning as a earning resources. Same way, as the topic is agriculture tourism. Agriculture tourism, basically nowadays we can say that the tourism sector is booming a lot. Even means as due to the current pandemic, which is yet not been completely over. The thing which has arisen in this pandemic is revenge tourism.
Okay, even in the month of December, you can say, or even in the weekends, we can see that many of the tourism places, they are full. Means there is no place. Many of the people are not even getting the bookings for enjoying their weekends and all. So that's why means this is the sector, or we can say this is the kind of a business which can be associated along with the agriculture activities. So that means the benefit of the this sector, or we can say the benefit of this activity can be taken along with the agriculture sector. My way to point out is basically that means many of the agricultural lands are been what we can say, it has been not been barren. So such kind of place can be utilized, or there can be some kind of the opportunities provided to the citizens of the various big cities, not even big cities, various of the cities where the people, they can come, they can visit the agricultural place where the tourism has been provided. They can stay there, they can means enjoy their weekends. Along with that, they can also get the additional knowledge about what agriculture is, as many of the times means many of the people are unaware about how the agricultural activity is been going on, how a particular crop is been cultivated, how much time is been required, etc, etc. So with the help of agricultural tourism, it is possible that the people can also get aware about the agricultural activities. As our economy is agrarian economy, it is very much important that all the people should know at least about the agriculture, how the agriculture has been done, what kind of crop has been cultivated in a particular season, etc. So with the help of agriculture tourism means both means the enjoyment, or we can say this means the time can be spent by the people in, will be considered as a quality time, because they will spend their valuable time in the nature. Also they will understand about the thing and all. So this is the thing means, or this is the concept which I think which will definitely means help, which will definitely means support the agricultural activities. Along with the agriculture means this thing, or this kind of the things can be done, which can be helpful for the farmers also. Same way means although means this idea means I think it is very much fruitful, but for that also there are various problems which may be faced. The problems means just basically we can say that for building the tourism means enabling our place to be a tourist place. For that, huge amount of investment may be required. Same way, the construction cost that may be difficult for the farmers to incur and all. Same way means attracting people towards some this kind of new concept is that might also be a challenge before the people and all. So accordingly, there are this kind of problems which the people may face, but for this, the people may go into various types steps, like they can collaborate with some of the businesses and all, or 3, 4, 5 farmers, they can come together, and together they can create such kind of tourism place where the people can come and all. Same way, if the people come together, then definitely means it will be the overall development of many of the people, or many of the farmers together and all. Same way, there are various schemes of the government also, which also supplements, which also helps for such kind of activities. So with the help of those schemes and also means the benefits of the agriculture tourism can be taken and all. So overall means the conclusion about my research paper is that from the above study, it can be stated that agrotourism is, it may be trending an acceptable concept. It may be quite appreciable by the like to this if it is implemented or taken into consideration the need, lacking and requirements of them. This will also enable the urban crowd to be aware about the farming activities, and hence the gap between the urban areas and the rural areas can be fulfilled to overcome to some extent. Also, a sense of spending holidays in the lap of the agricultural land may give up a sense of relief and happiness to the tourists. Overall, this concept might be very much fruitful and can be benefit the farmers, as well as can provide online business opportunities to them.
Thank you very much, sir. Our next paper presenter is Mrunal Khobragade, sir, Assistant Professor, Department of Economics, SHRI VAUSAHEB VARTAK Arts, Commerce and Science College, Borivali West. His paper is entitled Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana towards health and environmental sustainability. Over to Mrunal, sir.
Good morning, one and all. Myself, Mrunal Khobragade, working as an assistant professor in SHRI VAUSAHEB VARTAK College, Borivali. Thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity to present my paper, which is entitled PMUI, that is Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, towards the health and environmental sustainability. So before going to talk about this Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, I would like to say something about the what is the sustainability or sustainable development. So sustainable development means that is meeting the needs of present generation without compromising the needs of future generation. So whatever we are enjoying as of today, that is the future generation should enjoy. This means that pollution-free environment and all. Often we talk about that pollution, but it is the outside pollution which is mostly created by that vehicles, four-wheeler, two-wheelers. But hardly that we talk about the indoor pollution, that indoor pollution, which is means the result of that traditional cookings, that tools, means such as the chulha, particularly that is using the where that is cow dung or that the wood, which was creating that pollution, indoor pollution, and accordingly that food maker, means our mother or that women facing the problems such as the respiratory problems or the lung problems and others. And government also, Indian government also made some efforts that to provide this connection, clean energy to the women. Still, I remember my childhood days when that is my mother wanted to have the gas, but it was not available in my areas, in rural areas we were facing. I used to that heat the water on that chulha. Okay, but accordingly that over the period that some schemes started launched by the government. Clear. And in this regard, that is the efforts are made by the government. And this scheme that Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana launched by the government to provide the clean energy to the each and every household. As soon as Modi government, NDA government came into power in 2014, some initiative taken by government such as the Make in India, Skill India. One of those that initiatives is this Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. Clear. And this scheme launched by the Ministry of the Petroleum and Natural Gas in 2016. So this is the flagship scheme with an objective to make clean cooking fuel such as the LPG available to the rural and deprived household, which were otherwise using a traditional cooking fuels such as firewood, coal, cow dung, cakes, etc. So the target under this scheme was to release the 8 crore LPG connections to the deprived household or below poverty line families by March 2020. So here we are going to analyze that is the whether we achieve this target or not. With respect to the diseases, with respect to this indoor that pollution, some papers are published. That is the well-known journal Lancet published the paper in 2018 that claim household air pollution takes the lives of the 4.8 lakh Indians every year. Okay. Then another research published in the same journal claims that air pollution is causing low birth weight and short gestations. Okay. And exposing women to many diseases such as that respiratory problems, as I said, that is the lung problems, then that is the heart disease, stroke, then that is the diabetes and other diseases. So with this background, this paper try to analyze the two objective, that is whether the benefits, what are the benefits are made available to the customers or the consumers under this Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. And second one is to study the success of Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. What is the achievement of this scheme? So there are some scheme, that is some benefits made available to the consumers under this Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, so that is the maximum people should take the benefits of this government scheme. That is the first is the cash assistance to consumers. That is the government provide here the cash assistance to the that consumers. That is of the 1600 for connection of 14.2 kg cylinder. Then under another that is the assistance is the security deposit of the cylinder of rupees the 1250 rupees for 14.2 kg the cylinder. Then domestic gas consumer card, that is of the 25 rupees. Then inspection, installation, demonstrations charges of rupees the 75. Then second that benefit which is provided here, that is the online services. Clear, that is online services. So Ministry of the Petroleum and Natural Gas provide e-seva under Ministry e-seva. That is the online portal designed to answer any queries regarding petroleum and gas related services. Then option of portability, that is the good option given here, that is the portability as we have in the case of mobile, that is the SIM card. Okay, mobile number, clear. So here that is if the services are not good from any company, there are some companies who provide these services, maybe knowing Bharat Gas is there, Hindustan Petroleum is there. So they provide the services of this cylinder. If the consumer is not that happy or satisfied with these services, so he can switch over to other one. Next one is easy registration of connection. It is very easy to register here. That is the you must be knowing about that one. Then insurance policy coverage for LPG accident. That is another one. That is, it is the comprehensive insurance policy to cover the losses arising out of the accidents caused due to the LPG cylinders is taken every year on industry basis. Then next one is subsidy. As that is, we know that government provide the subsidy here. So government of India provides subsidy to the consumers on the sale of domestic LPG cylinder. It is directly deposited in the customer's bank account and it revised every month. Okay, then that is the what are the prices. I would like to show some tables here that where we can understand means whether over the period that what changes took place in some that indicators related to this scheme. Okay, okay, so we can see that prices of non-subsidized that is the LPG in metro cities, that is of the 14.2 kg cylinders. So over the period, that is in 2016, it was around 700. That is the 600 to 700, and as of today, that is it is the in between, that is the 900, means almost 900, around the 900. So we can see the increase in this LPG, that the rate. Clear. The next one is what is the success of this Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. So in 2014, that that is 55.9 households were covered under this means had the availability of the LPG. Clear, in 2014 had the availability of LPG to 55.9 household. Over the period that it is as it is claimed by the government, it is now that is the 99.8 the household or the families. Clear, the source is given here, that is the transition of LPG household to LPG. Okay, then next one is I would like to point out here, that is the use of this one. The data is released by the NFHS, that is the National Family and Health Survey. Okay, so recently it is released, that is I think last year, that is it is released, this data of the 22 states. So we can see I took some state here, that is and we can understand that is it is not same in urban and the rural areas. Clear. Again, there is the variation that it differs, the use differs from state to state. In some state, that is the more, there is the more use of this LPG, or that is the clean energy, and in some, that is the state, it is very low. So I would like to mention here what are the state here, that is the where that is there is the more use of this one, such as the Goa, Telangana, where more than the 90% household use this the clean fuel for cooking. Whereas the other state like the Bihar, Meghalaya, that West Bengal, that is there is the very less use of this one. Again, there is a variation in between, that is the urban and rural. So what it is claimed by the national, this data shows that shows around a 20% increase in actual uses of clean cooking fuel from 2015-16 to 2019 and 20. Okay, 20% increase. As it is claimed by government, that is this is the 99.8, but that is the this data shows that is the 20% increase. Another the government survey, that is the 76th survey of the National Statistical Office in November 2019, only 61% of total household of the country use gas cylinders for cooking purpose. Okay, means that is the official data published. Clear. So there is little bit contradiction that on the one hand, that is the government data shows that 99.8% household are covered, and on the other hand, that that is the this data shows that there is not that much of increase in this connection. So what are the causes of this one? This, that is the, after going through some of the literature, I observed that there are some other some causes, such as that is the majority of household in the country, especially in the rural areas, rely on firewood, chips, crops, cow dung. Clear. And another thing is that means recently, because of this the lockdown, because of this the COVID pandemic, and before that, that is the another one was demonetization of the rupee. Many that that is the poor people, those are particularly under the below poverty line, facing the that is a financial problem. So it gets difficult for these people, that is the initially paying the whole amount of this for cylinder and getting thereafter the subsidy in their account. So these are some causes of this one. That is, but after all, I would like to say personally, and that is my conclusion, is that it is the revolutionary scheme. Clear. Means providing this one, providing these benefits to the people, maximum household, particularly for the women, for their the health, and taking the care of their that is the health. It is really revolutionary, and government should continue this scheme. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. It was the last paper presentation of this session. Now, may I now request the chairperson of the session, Dr. Mrs. Manisha Rane ma'am, to express her view on the paper presented and share her thoughts on the topic. Over to Manisha madam. Yeah.
Hello, आवाज येतो माझा? Hello.
Yes,
you are audible.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you. Good morning to one and all. all the respected dignitaries on the online dais, Dr. M.S. Gosavi, Secretary and Director General, G Society, Principal Dr. Dipti Deshpande, Director HR, Principal Officer, Convener of the session, Coordinator of the session, Mr. Nitin Sawant, all paper presenters and delegates. Very good morning to one and all. First, I am glad to express my sincere thanks towards Principal Dr. Sant Madam and her organizing team members for giving me the opportunity. The theme of this paper is strategies and sustainability. Total 7 papers were presented on the different topics. I congratulate all the paper presenters, particularly the papers were presented on different topics like Navneet Kumar, impact on pandemic on food supply chain, Dr. Arshad Ahmad, the study of chain management, Jagtap Balasaheb, progress of agriculture sector in changing global market, agricultural problems, Dr. Santosh Dhole, changing global scenario, a study in microfinance in India for women empowerment, कविता भोये, भारत में महिला सशक्तिकरण के लिए सरकार की भूमिका, Mr. Nishikant Kute, emerging opportunities for growth and sustainability of agriculture and sector through the way of agriculture and tourism, and Mrunal Khobragade, Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana towards health and sustainability. So the paper presenters have summarized their topic in a very prescribed way. Different topics, different subjects they have taken, particularly in the 3 papers they have subjected on particularly agriculture sector, and then 2 on women. So agriculture, as you know, is a backbone of our society, our Indian economy, we always said. But what we find since last 35 years, before 35 years, I was teaching problem of agriculture, and same today even we are teaching the problems of agriculture. But here particular approach subject different, that is sustainability, and here I would like to share some of my views. When we say sustainability and sustainable futures are related as the goal of endpoints of a process called sustainable development. A sustainable development, such a society is considered to be a society that has reached sustainability through this process. So it remains out to define sustainable development. The well-known definition is sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. And particularly development as used here covers social and economic improvement in broad sense. It may or may not involve economic growth. The emphasis is not on economic growth but rather on qualitative improvement in human well-being or unfolding of human potential. Protecting the natural environment is not intended to mean freezing ecosystems to the extent that natural, evolutionary, and ecological process cannot occur, but rather means keeping changes at non-catastrophic pre-human rates. The importance of ecological sustainability follows from the fact the economy and society depend ultimately on the integrity of the biosphere and the ecological process occurring within it. Social equity is used here in the sense of equal opportunity rather than equality. Within this interpretation, sustainability could be principle exist under some forms of capitalism and some forms socialism. The economic and social aspects of sustainability are combined in a single aspect called human sustainability. However, before doing this, we emphasize the importance of the non-economic social aspects of sustainability. We can say that the components of human well-being, access to clean air and water, adequate diet, adequate dwellings, personal security, both physical and emotional, opportunities for learning, opportunities for cooperative small group interaction, and emotional support network. That nowadays we know that we need much our emotional support. Opportunities for creating behavior and physical exercise, and environmental and lifestyle which do not promote a sense of alienation, of anomie, of being deprived or boredom or loneliness. That we know that in these 2 years of pandemic, we have faced these problems, loneliness and deprivedness, boredom in a very much sense. So when we think about sustainability, sustainable development, we need to have, just please, hey, hello. I'm sorry. So in this way, the topic is very important, and agriculture as well as women development, all these sectors play a very important role, and they have to. So I congratulate all the paper presenters, as well as I would like to congratulate Mr. Sant Madam to organize such a beautiful conference on a very sensitive subject, which is very useful and very important issue for today's scenario. So thank you, madam, and thank you once again for giving me opportunity to chair this session. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, madam, for your address. May I request Professor C.T. Patil, sir, to propose a formal vote of thanks. Over to you, C.T. Patil, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Good
sir,
afternoon to one and all. Here I wish to quote Chief Conley. Social scientists have found that the fastest way to feel the happiness is to practice the gratitude. Respected chairperson of this session, Dr. Mrs. Manisha Rane, Principal, Dr. MS Gosavi College of Commerce, Nashik. Respected Principal, Dr. Mrs. SHRI, Vice Principal, CA RN Doshi, Dr. Mahesh Auti, Session Coordinator, Professor N.D. Sawant, and Rapporteur of the session, Professor Aniket Salvi. Eminent guests, delegates, dignitaries, special invitees, participants, my colleagues, and students. It is my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion of the conference event. First of all, I would like to thank our management, Gokhale Education Society's SHRI BHAUSAHEB VARTAK Arts, Commerce, and Science College for organizing two-day National Web Conference on Changing Global Scenario, Strategies for Sustainability. I thank the chairperson and speaker of this session, Dr. Mrs. Manisha Rane, Principal of Dr. MS Gosavi College of Commerce, Nashik, for accepting our invitation and gracing this event. Thank you, ma'am, for enlightening us with your inspiring and motivating words. I would like to express our deep gratitude to our principal, ma'am, Dr. Mrs. S.V. Santa, for her constant support and encouragement. Thank you, ma'am. I thank our Vice Principal, CA RN Doshi, sir, and Dr. Mahesh Auti, sir, for their support and guidance. Thank you, sir. I thank all the delegates and paper presenters for their excellent presentation on different topics related to theme of conference and making this technical session meaningful and interesting. I special thanks to the coordinator of this technical session, Professor N.D. Sawant, and rapporteur of this session, Professor Aniket Salvi, for their support and coordination. I extend thanks to the organizing committee, teaching staff, and non-teaching staff for their cooperation. I also thank our students for their active participation. After this pleasant task of expressing gratitude, now we move towards valedictory function. Thank you once again.
Hello. Now I request Dr. Mahesh Auti sir to take the charge of valedictory session. Over to Dr. Auti sir.
Yes, thank you.
Madam,
can we start valedictory function?
symbol
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon. We have gathered through online mode for the valedictory function of two-day multidisciplinary national web conference on changing global scenario strategies for sustainability. I, Dr. Mahesh Auti, Vice Principal and Joint Coordinator of this conference, welcome you all in this valedictory function. We have with us respected Mr. Mahendraji Padhi, who is a member to President's Office, Vedanta Aluminium Limited, Bhubaneswar, Odisha, and also founder and CMO, Mera Craft Mela Private Limited, Bhubaneswar, Odisha, as the chief guest for this valedictory function. I extend a warm welcome to you, sir, in this function. We have also with us Mrs. Sarita Padhi, Conference Secretary and Principal of the College, Honorable Principal Dr. Mrs. S.V. Sant, Vice Principal and Coordinator of this conference, C.A. Rajesh Doshi, Convener Dr. Sandeep Karande, Co-Convener Dr. Sushila Yadav, members of Organizing Committee, teachers, delegates of various colleges and institutes, and students' friends. I extend a hearty welcome to you in this valedictory function. Now I request Principal and Conference Secretary, Dr. Mrs. S.V. Sant Madam, to introduce our chief guest.
Thank you.
Sant Madam.
Thank you, Dr. Auti. Good afternoon, one and all. Today's chief guest, Shri Mahendraji Padhi, Mrs. Padhi, Vice Principal and Coordinator, C.A. R.N. Doshi, Vice Principal and Joint Coordinator of the conference, Dr. Mahesh Auti, Convener, Dr. Sandeep Karande, Co-Convener, Dr. Sushila Yadav, Professor Suhas Samant, all invitees, my colleagues, delegates, paper presenter, and dear students. Now, we are at valedictory function of this two-day multidisciplinary national conference on the very relevant theme, changing global scenario strategies for sustainability. In this conference, 5 keynote speakers presented their thought-provoking ideas on the theme of the conference and contributed meaningfully to this conference. In all, 46 papers received from different parts of the nation like Uttarakhand, Punjab, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, and so on. Selected 14 academicians presented their papers and expressed the views on various facets of the theme of the conference. The proceedings and journals were released at inaugural session. I feel the purpose with which we have organized this conference is fulfilled to a great extent. Today, for this valedictory function, we have an international personality, Shri Mahendraji Padhi, as the chief guest. Shri Padhi is commerce graduate from Bahrampur University, Odisha. Then he has completed PG diploma in CSIT from NIT New Delhi. Then PG diploma in sales and marketing management from Birla Institute, Kolkata. PG diploma in retail management from Symbiosis, Pune. Currently pursuing PhD in management. So he has well educated from different parts of the country. Shri Padhi, a senior leadership professional with 25 years hardcore experience in strategy, marketing, retail e-commerce, and business development in top MNCs, corporate houses in India and SAARC countries. At present, he is co-founder and CMO at Meracraft Mela Private Limited, Bhubaneswar, Odisha, and Strategy Brand Marketing and PR Team Member 2, President's Office, Vedanta Aluminium Limited, Bhubaneswar, Odisha. You all are aware, Vedanta Aluminium business, a part of Vedanta Limited, is India's largest producer of aluminium, producing almost half of India's aluminium. Vedanta Limited, a subsidiary of Vedanta Resources Limited, is one of the world's leading oil and gas and metal company with significant operation in oil and gas, zinc, lead, silver, copper, iron ore, steel and aluminum and power across India, South Africa, Namibia and Australia. Vedanta Resources Limited is a global diversified mining company headquartered in London, England, with $12 billion turnover. Shri Padhi has worked with Symbiosis Skill Development University, Indore, as a director, retail and e-commerce. Then he has worked with
Ma'am,
Madam,
Ma'am?
you are not audible.
Yes, now you can speak.
Audible?
Yes, madam, you can go ahead now.
Okay.
It was unmuted.
Entire this thing I was
No,
not
no,
audible.
last 2-3 sentences.
Last 2-3 sentences. Okay, okay. So Shri Mahendraji Padhi has worked with a number of corporate sectors, JK organization, then Uncle Chief, Aristocrat, VIP Luggage Group, Zodiac Clothing, that is a brand as a branch head, Eastern region, Birla Century as a head, marketing, Ginny and John as a head, large format retail, Kiana Portico and home furnishing as head, e-commerce, Skechers, USA #1 lifestyle footwears as director and sales and marketing. Then he has worked with Skechers. He has worked with Ixula, e-commerce and digital marketing services as director, e-commerce. And he has also worked with Symbiosis Skill Development University, Indore, as director, retail and e-commerce. So dear friends, we have with us an apt personality with rich corporate and academic experience and expertise as a chief guest and keynote speaker for this function. On behalf of the college, I cordially welcome Shri Mahendraji Padhi and Mrs. Padhi for this valedictory function of the conference. I appreciate all coordinators of the conference, CA Rajesh Doshi, Dr. Rauti, Dr. Sandeep Karande, Dr. Sushila Yadav, Professor Sachin Pawar, Professor Nitin Sawant, all rapporteurs, Professor Smruti Salunke, Professor Praveen Gadge, Professor Aniket Salvi, Professor Suhas Sawant, Prachi Kadam, C.T. Patil, and the core organizing committee for their wholehearted efforts. I appreciate the efforts put in by our IT team, Professor Rupal Sheth, Professor Vinaya Bagwe, Professor Forum, Professor Hiral, for their constant support and cooperation. I'm really happy that all my colleagues have worked with an excellent teamwork to make this conference a grand success. Once again, I welcome Shri Mahendraji Padhi, our keynote speaker, chief guest for this valedictory function, and you all for this particular program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam, for introducing the chief guest and also for being a constant source of our motivation, guidance, and support. Thank you. Now I request Assistant Professor Suhas Sawant to present a report of the conference. Over to Sawant, madam.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. It gives me immense pleasure, and I as well thank the college for giving me the opportunity to present the report today. The ongoing two-day National Web Conference has been organized by IQAC of our college. This year, due to pandemic situation, by complying COVID-19 protocol, the webinar was organized in virtual mode through Zoom and YouTube platform. The theme of the conference was Changing Global Scenario, Strategies for Sustainability. Day one began with the inaugural function. Sir Dr. M.S. Gosavi, Secretary and Director General of Gokhale Education Society, was the president of the conference. Shri Vivek Sawant, Chief Mentor at the MKCL Pune, was the chief guest and keynote speaker for day one's inaugural function. Inauguration of the two-day National Web Conference commenced with the Gokhale Education Society song, followed by Ishastvan and welcome song, which was sung by our college student, Ms. Brahma. For the in which she enumerated achievements of Mr. Vivek Sawant. Principal Dr. Sant also welcomed the president of this conference, Sir Dr. M.S. Gosavi, and emphasized about awards conferred on him and his contribution in the development taken by college in national and international conferences and seminars as well. Dr. Sant also explained the relevance and importance of the theme of this conference in current scenario. The chief guest and the keynote speaker of this session, of the inaugural session, Sri Vivek Sawant, started his speech on the topic of conference in which he covered three aspects of sustainability, that is economic, social, and environmental. Moreover, he pointed out that social and environmental aspects are equally important along with economic sustainability. He pointed out major challenges that cause environmental degradation and cited the importance of youth to stop environmental degradation by giving example of environmental activist Greta Thunberg. Mr. Sawant enumerated many opportunities for sustainable development. This was followed by presidential address by Sir Dr. M.S. Gosavi, who enlightened us about new education policy and its role in bringing about sustainability. He shared the memories of late SHRI BORIVALI VARTAK and his crucial role in establishment of our college. Sir Dr. M.S. Gosavi also pointed out that he admires SHRI BORIVALI VARTAK College, Borivali, for organizing conferences regularly and congratulated whole team and entire staff for actively organizing this conference. Vice Principal C.A. Rajesh Doshi coordinated this entire session. Professor Mrunal Khobragade was the rapporteur for this inaugural function. Vote of thanks for this inaugural function was presented by Vice Principal Dr. Mahesh Auti. Moving on to technical session 1. Sub-theme of technical session 1 was changing global scenario and business environment. Chairperson and the chief guest, the speaker for this session was Dr. Naresh Borke, Director, Competition Commission of India. Coordinator for this session was Dr. S.B. Karande. Dr. Karande welcomed and introduced the guest. He also enumerated about Dr. Borke's achievements. This was followed by address by Dr. Naresh Borke, wherein he explained about business cycle and changing business environment. He also stressed about the recession, vicious cycle, and about corona-affected economy. He also stressed on problems of underdeveloped economies, upswings and downswings even in the developed countries. He stressed on the supply chain problems during COVID-19 pandemic. Dr. Borke summed up his address by emphasizing on sustainable strategies to overcome such crisis situation. Rapporteur for this session was Professor Suhas Sawan. This was delivered by Dr. Sushila Yadav. Moving on to the paper presentation on the day 1. The sub-theme of technical session 1 was changing global scenario and business environment. And the chairperson for this session was Dr. Susmita Dakshini, Principal, DTSS College of Commerce, Malad, Mumbai. The coordinator of this session, Dr. Mrs. Sushila Yadav, welcomed and introduced the chairperson. The first paper for this session was presented by Dr. Rama Gandotra, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Sociology, Pandit Mohanlal SD College for Women, Gurdaspur, Punjab. Title of her paper, Empowering Women in Informal Sector, Lessons from Pandemic. She highlighted how COVID-19 pandemic adversely affected women workforce and their earnings, thus leading to abuse and domestic violence. The second paper of the session was presented by Ritu Arora, CCS University, Meerut, Divya Arora, Research Scholar, Faculty of Commerce and Business Studies, Motherhood University, Roorkee, Uttarakhand. Title of the paper was Post-COVID-19 Globalization Prospects for Rural Development, Journey from Government Budget to Self-Reliant India. The paper presented enlisted the schemes launched by Uttar Pradesh government for farmers and also explained the hindrances in agriculture and exports. The third paper of the session was presented by Mrs. Priyanka Mahesh Auti, lecturer, SHRI BHAUSAHEB VARTAK, Arts, Commerce and Science College, Borivali West. Title of the paper, Economic Participation of Indian Women is on the Wane, a Big Menace to Sustainable Development. She explained in her paper causes of decline of women's participation in economic activity and suggested the measures to increase women's participation in economic activity. The fourth paper of the session was presented by Dr. Kamla Bakuni, Dr. Kiran Kumar Pant, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Government PG College, Ramnagar, Nainital. Title of the paper, The COVID-19 Crisis and Sustainability in the Tourism Industry of Uttarakhand. She explained the meaning of sustainable tourism and also pointed out impact of climate disaster occurred in Uttarakhand on tourism. She also highlighted the initiatives taken by Government of Uttarakhand in encouraging tourism. The fifth paper of the session was presented by Mr. Ajinkya Pradeep Patil and Dr. Pager Sudhakar Kashina. Title of the paper, A Study on Effect of Foreign Investors and FDI in Indian Economic Growth. He described growth of foreign institutional investors and also net investment by foreign institutional investors in last 10 years. He also talked about the correlation between FDI, FII and GDP. The sixth paper of the session was presented by Mr. Aniket Sarvi, Assistant Professor, Department of Political Science, Gokhale Education Society, SHRI BHAUSAHEB VARTAK College, Borivali. Title of the paper, Challenges in Indian Higher Education System and its Future in the Light of National Education Policy 2020. He started with the present status of higher education, where he focused on issues plaguing the higher education. He also emphasized on the need for transformation in policy. He further pointed out the reforms done in higher education in new education policy. The seventh paper of the session was presented by Dr. Kirti Kulkarni, Assistant Professor, Gokhale Education Societies, N.B. Mehta Science and Commerce College, Borivali. Title of the paper, Changing Global Scenario and Strategies for Energy Conservation. She talked about the scenario of Indian energy sector, where she also pointed out the effect of large energy consumption and also suggested the future strategies for energy conservation. After the valuable paper presentation session on day one, the chairperson, Dr. Susmita Daksini, delivered her address and also shared her views on research papers. The session was concluded with a vote of thanks by Professor Prachi Kadam. Rapporteur for this session was Professor Smruti Saronkhe. Day 2 of the conference began with technical session 2. The sub-theme of the session was Changing Global Scenario and Sustainable Development. Chairperson and chief guest speaker for this session was Dr. S.P. Kalurkar, Principal, Atharva College of Engineering, Malad. Coordinator for this session was Professor Sachin Pawar. He welcomed and introduced the chief guest, Dr. Kalurkar. Dr. Kalurkar talked about sustainable development and strategies to work towards a sustainable future. Dr. Kalurkar introduced Mr. Sarang Ambadkar, an environmentalist entrepreneur for finding sustainable solutions for conservation of nature. He emphasized about the material created using used plastic and concrete, which is quite durable and nature friendly. Vote of thanks for this session was presented by Mr. Praveen Gadge. Rapporteur for this session was Professor Aniket Sarvi. Moving on to the paper presentations on day 2. The sub-theme of paper presentations of this day 2 was Changing Global Scenario and Sustainable Development, and the chairperson for this session was Dr. Mrs. Manisha Rane, Principal at Sir Dr. M.S. Gosavi College of Commerce, Nasik. The coordinator of this session was Professor Nitin Sawant, who welcomed and introduced the chairperson. The first paper of the session was presented by Dr. Navdeep Kumar, Assistant Professor, PG Department of Commerce and Business Administration, Lyalpur Khalsa College, Jalandhar, Punjab. Title of his paper, Reviving Food Supply Chain Disruptions for Sustainability. He emphasized on impact of pandemic on demand and supply of goods. He also pointed out the loopholes which had a severe impact on food supply. The second paper for this session was by Mr. Arshad Ahmed, Assistant Professor, UG Department of Commerce, Yuva Guru College of Arts and Science, Kovilapalayam, Pollachi. Dr. Ms. Deepa M., Assistant Professor, PG Department of Commerce, Nalamuttu Gaundar Mahalingam College, Pollachi. Title of their paper, A Study of Supply Chain Management of the Construction Industry in Pollachi Taluk. They focused on linking labor and industries, which will help in accessibility of raw material to the industries and finished goods to the consumers. The third paper was presented by Dr. Jagtap Sheshra, Assistant Professor in Commerce, MES Shri Jnaneshwar Mahavidyalaya, Nevasa. Title of his paper, Progress of Indian Agriculture Sector in Changing Global Market. We tried to point out agriculture problem in the present era and focused on changing agricultural pattern in globalized world. He also shared strategies to make agriculture more sustainable. The next paper was presented by Dr. Dhavle Santosh Prakash and Dr. Samay Tukaram Gora. The title for their paper, Changing Global Scenario, a study on microfinance in India through women empowerment. They are from Daun Taluka Arts and Commerce College, Daun. The fifth paper of the session was presented by Pradhyapak Kavita Taksan Boye, Arthashastra Vibhag Kala Vidnyan वाणिज्य महाविद्यालय सुरगाणा. टाइटल ऑफ अ पेपर, भारत में महिला शक्तिकरण के लिए सरकार की भूमिका. She focused on the importance of women empowerment and role of women in building up a nation, as well as she talked about the importance of various days and schemes like Beti Bachao Yojana, etc., which will bring awareness among the masses. The seventh paper of the session was presented by Mr. Nishant Kutte and Mr. Ashok Bodake. The title of the paper, Emerging Opportunities for Growth and Sustainability of Agriculture Sector through the Way of Agriculture and Tourism. Presenters discussed here that there is a need to make certain change in agriculture sector as per the changing trend of economy, and the paper presenter also suggested parallel ways for business along with agricultural activities. The last paper for this session was presented by Professor Mrunal Khobragade, Assistant Professor, Department of Economics, Gokhale Education Society, SHRI BHAUSAHEB VARTAK, Arts, Commerce and Science College, Borivali. Title for his paper, Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana towards health and environmental sustainability. He emphasized on the Ujjwala Yojana and its aim to safeguard the health of women and children by providing clean cooking fuels to the deprived sections of the society. After the valuable paper presentations of this session, the chairperson, Dr. Mrs. Manisha Rane, delivered her address and also shared her views on research papers. The session concluded with a vote of thanks delivered by Professor C.T. Patil. The rapporteur for this session was Professor Aniket Sarve. Once again, I thank Principal Dr. Mrs. S.V. Sun, Vice Principal Dr. Mahesh Auti, and Vice Principal C.A. R.N. Doshi, and the college for giving me the opportunity to present the report for this two-day National Web Conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam, for presenting a comprehensive report of this web conference. Being an expert from the corporate sector, Padhi sir is the right person to guide us how the gap between theory and practical, academics and industry can be bridged effectively. So it's a time now to listen the words of knowledge, wisdom, experience and expertise by a learned and versatile personality, chief guest of this valedictory function, Mr. Mahendraji Padhi sir. I request him to express his thoughts on this occasion. Over to Padhi sir.
Yeah, am I audible? And very good afternoon to all of you.
Yes, you are audible, sir. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Very good afternoon to all of you. And the organizer of Gokhale Education Society and the management committees and respected Dr. Principal Dr. S.V. Sant Mem and the entire team members who has been put their valuable times and efforts while organizing these events and making it successful in this online mode, whereby it is extremely difficult in terms of coordinating and presenting. It's a live sessions like, I mean, you know, which I have been experienced for last 2 days, and it is extremely good. And the other thing is the topics being selected, the changing scenario in, I mean, changing global scenario, strategies for sustainability is something today is trending in the global digital platform, because which is very, very essential in our today's lifestyle to understand. So the objective and purpose is shooting into our real life situations. So it is time to congratulate the organizers, Sant Ma'am, and the whole team members for selecting this topic from my side. I think, the earlier Savant Ma'am was showcasing and Maheshji was telling about the 2 days sessions. It has been a firefighting one in terms of participants participating in these presentations and showcasing their various papers and research and their own talents due regard to their professions. I think it is extremely brainstorming sessions while showcasing their own talents and research works. And day 1, day 2, the technical sessions, the sessions 1, sessions 2, I think it has complemented to its topic in a global changing scenario, how strategies are changed and taking place. Okay. Now, yeah, is it my presentations is visible to everyone?
Yes, sir, it's visible. You can continue.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yeah, so the topic is changing global scenario in strategies for sustainability. So it is sustainability in terms of, in a simple platforms to put it up, surviving and sustaining to achieve a long-term perspective or a long-term goal or a value propositions for the society, for the stakeholders, for the investors, for the customers, and for the overall peoples. That's what sustainability all about. And in these presentations, what I wish to do is, it's an opportunity for me and the participating members as well to, understand how the sustainability impact in a real life situations. I would like to discuss in a very, very practical perspective. In one is in a global changing environment. That is one perspective. The other one is in a nutshell in an organizations, how this changing is impacting and how people are sustaining with that and coming up with newer strategies to survive in this marketplace and grow in a long-term propositions. So when we talk about sustainability, it's related to certain factors and factor influencing to sustainability in terms of environment, in terms of economics, in terms of social and cultural developments. These matters a lot to a society in a larger scale. So then sustainability works when we talk about over a period of time. It's sustainability for next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years. Therefore, the in a global scale, in UNDP, let's say, or World Economic Forum, or whole country, whole globe today, working for a common objective and the goal that is sustainable development. It is not only I'm talking about as a corporate houses or the education institutions or in a global economic forum. It is all individuals can contribute and participates, because it is a chain of individuals, and then larger it's convert into a community, and then for a country, then for the globe perspective. So it is extremely important in a sustainable development goal. Every individual can participate and communicate to it. Okay, so coming back to my perspective of saying in a changing scenario, in a changing scenario, okay, sustainability in terms of it is in two-way impacting in a global sustainability perspective. Another one is in national sustainability perspective. When we talk about in a global sustainability perspective, let's talk about the recent pandemic one, recent climatic and weather conditions, and the global economic conditions. When we talk about recently, and Ukraine borders, Russia parking their weapons and their soldiers, and jumping up of international crude prices, and issues and challenges related to import export regulations, supplying of vaccines, medicines, life-saving medicines, and banning traveling, shipping, transportations, and supply chain activities, and availability of funds and policies. That is what, in terms of a largest picture, in terms of a global perspective, I'm talking about. Okay, so when we talk about in a global perspective, what are the things impacting to the sustainability factors? So like the climatics, if we recently observe in a global scales, the weather conditions being deferred for agriculture about 2 months. Similarly, in economic conditions in a global scales, the GDP of the existing countries being diminished due to the pandemic conditions which sustained for 2 years. And also the geopolitical relationship, what I explained to you, the current Ukraine and Russia issues and the pandemic issues, supply and manufacturing of vaccines, and the jumping up of international crude prices. In India, we might have been observed in terms of in digital and social media. There was, a trend, there was a viral of hashtag price hikes petrol diesel. Similarly, the supply of medicines, receiving vaccines from international manufacturers or the MNCs organizations, traveling and its barrications, shipping supply chains, because shipping was banned in the meantime due to pandemics, traveling to respective countries was banned, and the World Bank and the International Fund and the policies, they have regulated the monetary policies. Then there was an issue pertaining to supplies. So that is one perspective of looking at in a global scenario. When we're talking about in a national sustainability propositions like economy like India, what are the factors largely influences the Indian economy, which we have been currently observing? Regard to there is a GDP degrowth. Similarly, availability of raw materials, waters, powers to industries. There was scarcity of coals, there was a scarcity of power, so on so forth. And we have been also observed, noticing the crisis of skilled labor due to the recent migrant issues, and due to there is a sudden growth in IT industries, e-commerce industries, respect to the pandemic challenges which the economy has been faced so far. Similarly, the unemployability to employment crisis, healthcare and vaccinations being remained one of the top priority in the industry, in the organizations, in the family, in the community as a whole country. And agriculture has taken a big stage due to pandemics. Similarly, for the overall growth of economics, the backbone are like supply chains, transportations, railways, shippings, and finances. The interest rates and the market volatility played a very, very crucial role in terms of supporting the GDP, but it was a slow growth which we have been witnessed so far. So that is what, in terms of a global sustainability perspective and a national sustainability perspective, which we have been witnessed. So now I would like to give a classic example of the in a organization's perspective, how organizations comes up with successful firefighting strategies to deal with the current situations, so that their organizations can lead, survive, prospers in a long-term propositions. So here I'm taking the example of Vedanta Aluminium Limited, which is world's largest aluminum manufacturers and India's second largest and one of the leading Asia's aluminum manufacturers. When we talk about sustainability in terms of long-term propositions, it is adding value to the investors, adding value to the customers, and adding value to employees, and adding value to overall, I mean, whole society. So that is what a vital factors. That's what one of the key challenges as well for the organizations to meet the expectations of various stakeholders. So here, the one theme the organizations looks forward to and works in a single direction is a green, clean environment to sustain in a larger picture and in a long-term propositions. Yeah. Now, what Vedanta is doing in terms of believing in so that it meet the expectations of the stakeholders and the customers and the global market standards. So it works bringing new technologies, and it optimally uses its resources. It takes care of the safety, health issues of the employees, health issues of the society, health issues of the plants and the environment, and it works towards protecting the environment and working towards a zero carbon strategy by 2030, which the organization is planning to implement, and it has got a long-term commitment to achieve the sustainable development goals. And it deals with the stakeholders like the government organizations, the community, the society, the customers, the vendors, and the service providers as a whole. It works together, taking into confidence of the whole society. Yeah. Now, Vedanta, the single strategy is the single accomplishment of, I mean, the one window of looking at the strategies and delivering is very simple within the organizations. It is Vedanta, how it is going to fulfill देश की जरूरत के लिए. Vedanta, देश की जरूरत के लिए, how it is going to achieve the sustainable development growth by 2030. Okay. In this regard, I would like to showcase a video to all of you.
आंगनबाड़ियों को आधुनिक बनाकर ई लर्निंग और बाला डिजाइन से बढ़ाकर एक हो रही है बच्चे बच्चे के भविष्य की कहानी। नंदघर बाय वेदांता देश की जरूरतों के लिए।
Is it I'm able to showcase the video?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So Nandghar is one of the concept, I mean, working closely with the Anganwadis of whole countries, and in Odisha this is called SHG, Social Help Group. So that has been developed, formed by women's and supporting them, the child and the women's and the elderly also to study and develop, I mean, being literate. So that is the concept of Nandghar, developing the infrastructures and providing the education service facilities and teaching aids and Vedanta takes care and manages the overall propositions of the education developments. So this is one of the initiatives which I have been showcased, and we have a lot of activities similarly in a framework mode. So when I'm talking about what are the strategies Vedanta being implemented in long-term propositions by 2030 to achieve, so we see that every aspect, I mean, the aluminium is being aluminium, it looks silver, but we call it the green metal aluminium, which we would like to provide to the nations as, I mean, present, I mean, aluminium is a greener matter. How we are going to do it? Because we have taken a pledge towards zero harm, zero waste, zero discharge, and saving the waters, saving the environments, planting, I mean, many trees, and supporting the farmers and developing the livelihoods in the rural area, and managing the plant in a, I mean, pollution-free manners. So those are certain strategies which Vedanta works in a long-term propositions, and there are two ways, two parallel teams working to achieve this sustainable development goal. One team is there to take care of the plants, the operations, the marketings, the strategies, the digital marketings, the innovations, the technologies. The other teams what 24/7 works on the social development goal by mode of, there are corporate social responsibility professionals who works to achieve this sustainable development goal in a long-term propositions in a value-added manners to the society, to the governments, and to the environments, and to the everybody's, to the NGOs and the communities and the livelihoods. So to accumulate all the things and put it, the organizations has put it up in a sustainable development framework. That's what whole strategy being bundled and put it up for a strategic directions. So that is what called sustainable development framework within our organizations. Okay, so it is, the idea has to transform lives of the communities, transform lives of the peoples, transform lives of the employees, transform by mode of innovating, by mode of bringing changes, by mode of applying the science and technologies, empowering women in workplaces, and giving them a solid directions to move forwards. And here we look at quality educations, health, water and sanitizations, community welfare infrastructures, example which I have showcased by mode of Nandagas, and many other bio investments, sponsoring and creating sports and cultural personalities in different sectors, working closely with government bodies, local administrations, NGOs, and the communities. So here I would like to showcase another video how these are overall sustainable development framework works.
पापा ये पेंटिंग किस चीज से बनती है?
पेंटिंग तो दुकान वाले को बताओ।
अंकल ये पेंटिंग किस चीज से बनती है?
ओ विशाल, क्या क्यों कैसे कभी सोचा है तुमने, क्या क्यों कैसे कभी सोचा है तुमने ये सब, क्या सूरज भी लेता है छुट्टी, क्यों जाने नहीं लड़ते गिरते नहीं कुट्टी, कैसे बादल आसमां में चलते बना।
मोबाइल फोन का
So I hope I mean, this video was, I'm able to showcase. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So that is what the overall compositions of sustainable development framework by mode of molding the minds and putting up the strategies in a market fields. So next is how the strategic framework we have been able to communicate. So this has put up in a 3 milestones by mode of strategic communications, corporate communications teams who interacts, building relationship, strong relationship with the employees, the direct and indirect stakeholders, and the shareholders, and the bankers, the communities, the government officials, the NGOs, the societies, and overall the customers as a whole aspects. So that is what this is what the models the organizations developed to communicate to the team members. It's governing and achieving the sustainable development goal, putting up in a framework. Every aspect of the society, starting from from a kid to a old age of the society, in whether it is Vedanta Aluminium Jharsuguda or Lanjigod, or in Odisha, or let's say Balco in Chhattisgarh, or Sesa Goa, yeah, in Goa. So the whole aspect is to take the people's, take care of their livelihoods, and in a community associate as much as possible and hold their hands whatever they are doing, and they are best to do it in a social structure and support them. So Vedanta always extending a supporting hand as a part of strategy to support and establish them, so that a livelihood environment, peaceful environment created in a society. So therefore it's impacting, creating sustainable livelihood through its strategies, enabling women empowerments, providing quality educations through Nandaghar, and reaching out to community by mode of health and social services, building community infrastructures by mode of sports and culture. As I told you, nurturing sports personality and sending them to, Asian Games, to whatnot, in national games, and creating socio-economic developments and taking care of the environments. So this is what Vedantas, in terms of, if you look at the overall propositions in a 360-degree, how it is nurtures. So whether it is a farmers or the small playgroup students, or developing arts and crafts, or it is taking care of the healthcare, or sponsoring, creating sports personalities, or taking care of the tribal health and welfare, and supporting malnutrition, whole things of the society. So to sum up, so this is what we do in terms of strategies, to face the global challenges in a marketplace. Now I will, that is what from my side. Now I am open to take in case of any questions from any sides. Yeah. So that is what now from my side, and thank you very much once again for all the team members for welcoming me to these sessions, and Principal Dr. S.B. Santmem, and the organizers of Gokhale College and the management committees, and Dr. Mahesh and Dr. C.A. Rajesh ji, and the people who have significantly contributed to achieve these milestones in terms of making these sessions a overall success through online. And I'm open to questions. If any questions, I'm open to answers though. I apologize a little bit because it was a very challenging time for us in terms of, as I'm into little multitasking things, so little time perspective as well. Okay, so once again, I'm open to questions. Participants or any other team members has got any questions, and anything from my side in terms of how we do work on. If you, our website is open, www.vedantaaluminium.com, in terms of sustainable development goals and the frameworks, the videos, and the medias and contents. So it is available. We can, and the team members can be in touch with me as well, whereby I can add any value or contributions to their research and development perspective. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for enlightening us and discussing the various dimensions on global and national sustainability, and also strategies for sustainable development. Thank you very much, sir. It's our culture to extend sincere thanks and express a sense of gratitude toward the chief guest and those who have helped to make this event a grand success. Now I request Vice Principal and Coordinator of this conference, CA R.N. Doshi sir, to propose vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Auti. Very good afternoon to each and everyone. Respected Chief Guest and Chairman for today's session, Mr. Mahendra Padhi, Strategy, Brand Marketing and PR Team Member to President's Office of Vedanta Aluminum Limited, Honorable Principal Madam and Conference Secretary, Dr. Mrs. S.V. Sant, Vice Principal and Joint Coordinator of this web conference, Dr. Mahesh Auti, Convener of this national conference, Dr. S.B. Karande, Co-Convener, Dr. Mrs. Sushila Yadav, all core committee members, all invited guests and speakers of earlier sessions, all the respected principal of other colleges present here, all participants of this seminar, and my dear colleagues and my dear students. I, C.A. Rajesh Doshi, Vice Principal and Coordinator of this two-day national conference on the theme of Changing Global Scenario, Strategies for Sustainability, is here to perform a very pleasant activity to express our gratitude. We have very rich and ancient heritage and culture. I start my talk with a Sanskrit Subhasitam, and I think it will be easy for all of you to follow that. Pratham Vayasi Dattam Toya Malpam Smarantah Sirasi Nihit Bhara Narikela Naranam Salilam Mrutakalpam Dadyu Rajivanantam Nahi Krutamupkaram Sadhavo Vismaranti. It means remembering the small amount of water which was given in its early age, the coconut trees carry nectar-like water on their head throughout their life. In the same manner, good and noble people do not forget a favor done to them. This slok instills in us the great virtue of gratitude, that one should fondly remember any noble services done unto him by anybody, anytime, feel grateful, and also do some noble services in return. Even the thought of such a virtue makes the mind soft and expanded. It is our usual practice to have national and international conferences at regular intervals. Carrying forward The same tradition this year also, we organized 2 days national conference on very important topic, changing global scenario, strategies and sustainability. The idea for this conference was originated by Principal Madam. After discussion with staff members and with the guidance of Principal Madam, all have decided very lively and very important theme of this conference. With the support of you all, we have achieved success in conducting this event and making it really very successful. It was truly a mind-boggling event where a lot of discussion and deliberation took place, and it must have activated thought process in the minds of many. Such kind of conferences help the young generation to think, to observe, and to chart out the path which will lead to success. First of all, I offer my sincere gratitude to our entire management of Gokhale Education Society, and especially to our beloved Secretary and Director General of our society, Sir Dr. M.S. Gosavi, and our
Now you are audible.
Okay, maybe little net issue. First of all, I offer my sincere gratitude to our entire management of Gokhale Education Society, and especially to our beloved Honorable Secretary and Director General of our society, Sir Dr. M.S. Gosavi, and our Chairman, Principal Pandit Sir, for their constant guidance, support, and blessings. They are always a source of inspiration to us and motivate us with their presence. Usually, we always have their physical presence, but in this conference, where we don't have their physical or virtual presence due to their age and pandemic situation, this conference would have been more interactive and very lively with their presence. I am also thankful to Dr. Mrs. D.P. Deshpande, Director HR, for her continuous guidance and support. I am also very thankful to our chief guest of this session, Sri Mahendra Padiji from Bhubaneswar, Odisha, for a wonderful valedictory remark. Sir, it was really unique and different with the help of wonderful presentation and videos explaining the concept of sustainability with the example of initiative taken by Vedanta Limited. You presented your ideas and roadmap in an excellent and real mind-blowing manner. Sir, it was really Desh ki Zarurat ke liye. I am very hopeful that your efforts will help all of us in transforming our learning efforts, which will in turn help our stakeholder, that is our students. Sir, we are really grateful for your gesture of sharing help for researchers also. We are grateful to you, sir, for accepting our invitation and for gracing this function in spite of your ill health. For information of participant, I just mentioned that sir has very recently recovered from COVID situation and he's still not having better health. Sir, this shows your commitment. We wish you a very good health. And sir, thank you very much from all of us.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, an event like this cannot happen overnight. The wheels start rolling months and weeks ago. It requires planning and bird's eye view for details. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by a very efficient leader in form of our principal madam, Dr. Sant. I would like to offer my very special gratitude and thanks to our beloved principal madam, Dr. Sant. I have very long tenure of work of more than 30 years of my life for this society, this college, and with Dr. Mrs. Sant. I really appreciate her vision, her energy, her dedication towards work, and her willingness to guide and help. I just, with the permission of the madam, share one small experience. Yesterday night only, at around 11 o'clock, I had sent this particular speech, and she was so vigilant that she could find out a single small mistake of one particular word. Thank you very much, madam. It shows your dedication and your energy. We all are really inspired with that. We are fortunate to have her guidance, support, and help in all sphere of our work. Madam, on behalf of all my colleagues and on my personal behalf, I thank you from bottom of my heart for putting in special efforts to make this conference a grand success. Madam, on this occasion, I would like to thank you personally also for putting full confidence in me and giving me the pleasant opportunity to coordinate the inaugural session, as well as finally to have this opportunity of offering vote of thanks. Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you.
Welcome, madam. We have been fortunate to have the renowned identity from academic, industry, and other areas across the country. Friends, you all will agree with me that all our resource person, chairman, and guest speaker were truly resourceful. Their credentials are really such that they can be a role model for any participant. Here I will be failing in my duties if I do not mention our special thanks to Principal Dr. Kallurkar. I am very happy to inform you all that he is accepted as a scientist at global level. Sir, please accept our congratulations from all of us for your achievement. Sir, thank you very much for accepting our invitation of being a resource person and for showering your love and blessings on all of us. Our special thanks to a very young entrepreneur, Mr. Sarang Ambadkar, for presenting his success story. It is really motivating for all those who wants to have their startup. I want to thank all the resource person, chairman, guest speakers who gave their vital time from their real busy schedule to grace this meeting and adorning their knowledge and sharing with us their graceful opinion. On this occasion, on behalf of our institute, on behalf of all my colleagues and on my personal behalf, I offer my sincere gratitude for all the resource person, chairman, and guest speakers. My special thanks goes to all the participants of this conference. Without you all, we can't have any conference like this. I am thankful to all the participants for joining, for attending this online conference, for presenting their views in the form of research articles. You all will appreciate and agree with me that in spite of our best efforts, it may not be possible to accommodate all the selected participants for paper presentation due to certain constraint known to all. All those participants who were selected for paper presentation, and if they could not present their papers, will be considered as paper presented in this conference. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of very motivated and dedicated colleagues who knows their job and they are result oriented. All our colleagues have worked very dedicatedly. The success of this conference goes to you all. Without teamwork, it is not possible to achieve any success. I would like to take this opportunity to place on record our hearty thanks to all core committee members of this conference, including Vice Principal Dr. Auti and all my colleagues who have contributed their share by working as a coordinator, rapporteur, or in any other capacity, directly or indirectly. I'll be failing in my duties if I don't extend my special thanks to our entire technical team and all those who have worked at the back end for their enormous cooperation in organization of successful event like this. I am also very thankful to our student, Ms. Brahmananda Patankar, for singing Isasthavan and welcome song in her melodious voice. We are also thankful to our publisher, Mr. Surya Publication, Latur, for publishing proceedings of this conference, and Messrs. Ajanta Prakashan for publication of an international multidisciplinary quarterly research journal, Ajanta, having an impact factor of 6.63. Both these publications were made available very well in time. Finally, I thank one and all for the contribution made by them for making this national conference a grand success. Thank you all. Thank you very much. There is one announcement for participants. Feedback forms link is shared in WhatsApp group. Participation certificate will be issued after receiving feedback form. We request you to give your genuine feedback, which will help us to improve. Now, with the permission of the madam, we close this particular conference. We end this particular conference. Thank you all. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a nice day.